Have you got those questions in an interview which starts with, tell me about a time, or describe a situation in which? Was it easy for you to answer them, or were you stuck as you could not think of an example? Behavioral questions are super common in interviews, and if you haven't encountered them, buckle up, as they are the favorite type of question of recruiters, and they're becoming increasingly popular. They stress a lot of people out because what if you've never encountered them? Today we'll be diving into a crucial topic that can make or break your job interview: answering behavioral questions easily and with confidence. Whether you're a seasoned professional or just starting your career, this video will equip you with the tools you need to ace those questions with faith in yourselves. We'll also talk about what to do when you're stuck with a question and think you've got nothing to share. At the end of the video, I'll also share a toolbox of stories that you can create to answer all such behavioral questions. So let's get started. Hi everyone, my name is Aiena. I'm a flight attendant and a cabin crew trainer. Apart from travel, other topics that excite me are leadership, health, and wellness. Welcome to this channel. First things first, what exactly are behavioral interview questions? These are questions that ask you to provide examples of past experiences to demonstrate your skills and qualities. These questions aren't about your skills on paper, but the idea is that the past behavior is the best predictor of future performance. They're designed to see how you'd react in similar situations at the new company or the new role. They also provide the recruiter a glimpse into your brain as to why you do what you do. For instance, you might be asked, give me an example of a time when you had to solve a difficult problem, or tell me about a time when you had to handle a difficult customer issue. What happened and what did you do? Recognizing behavioral questions is pretty straightforward. They often start with phrases like, tell me about a time when, or describe a situation where, or give an example of. These are dead giveaways for you. Essentially, if the question is asking about a past experience or how you handle specific situations, it's a behavioral question. Now let's talk about the techniques you can use to answer these questions. There are several methods and acronyms, but the most popular ones are the STAR method, the CAR method, and the PAR method. There are similarities between all three of them. Let's talk about them in detail, one after the other. The STAR method is the most popular one and stands for situation, task, action, and result. It's a structured way to ensure your answers are concise and cover all the important points. Talking about the situation, it helps to kind of set the scene. Here, you explain the context. In the task section, you describe your responsibilities or the challenge you faced. In the third step, you'll detail the steps you took to address that task. And lastly, you'll share the outcome or what was achieved. The CAR method is similar to the STAR one and stands for context, action, and result. I personally like the CAR method as it's a bit more streamlined but follows the same principle. It combines the first two steps, the situation and the task, from the STAR method into one, the context part. So in the context section, you'll provide background information and the challenge together. In the action stage, please explain what you did. And lastly, in the result step, highlight the results, technically talking about what the outcome was. Finally, the PAR method stands for problem, action, and result. Again, CAR and PAR methods are almost the same. Only the first letter of the acronym is different, but they mean the same thing, right? While all these methods are effective, the STAR method is used by the recruiters themselves and is widely regarded as the best technique because it's comprehensive and easy to follow. It also keeps your answers clear, concise, and focused on your strengths and accomplishments. Let's go through a few examples to see this in action. So here's the question. Tell me about a time when you faced a challenging deadline. When you share information about the situation, provide a bit of background information. For example, you can start by saying, sure, at my previous job at Explore Technologies, I was the lead engineer and also the project manager for website developments. You see, by providing a bit of background information, you're helping the recruiter, this person sitting in front of you, to visualize the situation you were in. When you say the name of the company or the department, it helps them to anchor their thought process. If you need to add information such as how many people were on the team, please do so, because you see, small details like this helps the recruiters to get their heads around the situation and paint a picture. You can then go on and add, we were launching a new product website with a really tight deadline. Then give them the task. So you can say, as the lead engineer, it was my responsibility to ensure that the site was functional and bug-free and that it was delivered in 2 weeks' time. Then go on and add why behind this 2 weeks time frame, as it's a critical piece of information. So you can then further add, normally we take a month to launch such heavy websites as there are multiple projects running at the same time. This will help the recruiter understand that the pressure was high. In the action step, you can add, I communicated the pressure to my team. I held daily meetings to track the progress of individual team members and prioritize tasks that had to meet the deadline. In this part, the recruiter obviously wants to know what you did, but also wants to know your thought process behind that action. So give them the why behind the action, as it helps them to connect the dots. Always remember to give the result in the end. Some people forget to give the result and the recruiter is left thinking, so what happened in the end? So don't end the result by saying things like, I felt good about it, or we ended up working on a professional level. Such information is not concrete. So what kind of questions can you ask yourself to come up with the result? So ask yourself, were the managers pleased by the outcome? Did the sales go up by 25%? And similar questions. In our example, we can share the result by saying that we successfully launched the website in 12 days and within budget, exceeding client expectations. As you can see, this resembles a lot like you telling a story to someone. It has a starting point where you give the background information, the context, then it has the middle part where you share what you did, that spicy part, and lastly you end with the result, which is the outcome. So how do you know what kind of behavioral questions they'll ask? Dissect that job description and think of questions that will be based on it. So if the job description says that you must be able to deliver exceptional customer service, you better have examples of how you exceeded your customer's experience in your previous job. The following question that mostly gets asked is, give me an example in which you handled a difficult customer or a customer complaint. But what if you've never encountered a situation similar to the one being asked in the behavioral questions? Here's what you can do. It's okay to admit that you haven't faced that exact situation, but draw on similar experiences from other areas of your life, such as school projects, volunteer work, or even personal challenges. Now, in extreme scenarios in which you never encountered that situation, describe how you would have handled the situation if it came up. This shows your problem-solving skills and your ability to think on your feet. So let's look at an example in which you've had no work experience and how you could structure it. So the question is, tell me about a time you showed leadership. So you can start by saying, absolutely, during a high school group project, some team members weren't pulling their weight and completing the tasks assigned to them. I recognized the need for leadership and took the initiative to organize meetings, delegate tasks, and even motivate the team. Through open communication and positive reinforcement, I ensured everyone contributed. I put in a buddy system in which they were answerable to each other about the tasks that they had to complete. We finished the project on time and all of us received a high grade. Don't shy away from asking for clarification if they ask you very broad questions. For example, they ask you, give me an example of when you handled a conflict. Ask them if they're interested in knowing about a conflict that happened within the organization or the one that happened with a customer. This will show to the recruiter that you want to answer the question in the best possible way. Prepare a bank of at least 4 to 5 examples that can be used in different situations. I'll leave a link to a PDF document that you can download and it will help you get started. Do not give generic answers as to what you usually do in such situations. For example, if you're asked, how did you handle a new joiner to your team? Rather than saying that you've been handling new joiners for a really long time and XYZ is what you usually do, give one concrete example only. Lastly, practice saying those answers out loud at home or ask a friend or a family member to act like an interviewer. The more you'll practice, the easier it will become for you to be in a flow. You see, practice makes permanent, not perfect. Mastering behavioral questions can significantly boost your confidence in interviews. Practice using the STAR method, prepare your stories, and remember, every question is an opportunity to showcase your abilities and fit for the job. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and also hit the bell icon for more career tips and advice. Please share your interview experiences in the comment below, as I'd love to hear them. On that note, till we meet again, Aiena signing off, and may you ace those interviews with confidence and become a great storyteller.